Michael Oliver is not a nut. He is doubling down on his gold and silver prices. He's saying $8,000 gold price is easy. It's like no problem. He's saying it's possible to be $20,000 per ounce. Silver, he was at 100 to 150. Now he's doubling down and saying 200 easy. And the big thing is he's talking about switching from investing into gold miners to the silver miners. So take a look at this video.
A new reality for silver. And I'm arguing it's highly likely to happen. First off, if that spread chart I showed is silver versus gold with that ceiling goes back over 3 years. Boom, boom, boom. When you break out over that, same spread chart event occurred 5 months before silver reached $50 in 1980. It moved from the 20s, no, from the 15 level, I think it was. It's like a quadrupling in price of silver in 5 months. That spread breaks out. We set the clock. And I'm arguing that probably in the next couple quarters, remember the copper move and the lead move. And there's plenty of other markets that have done that. I expect silver maybe be $200. That fast.
Yeah, I've got gold going to $10,000, which at this point is, I'm not giving a lot of thought to it and followed it for a very long time. That's kind of a commonplace projection. You know, you go on the web and podcasts and everything, yeah, gold's going to go to $10,000, et cetera. So, you know, what's the value added in that projection? I would say that it's going to hit $10,000 a lot faster than people think. And there are some interesting reasons for that. I mean, we can go into the fundamentals and explain why gold's going up. I'm happy to talk about that. But in terms of that price target and getting there, probably in 2026 and maybe not even that far into the year.
These price targets are something that's no longer fringe, no longer theoretical, and no longer years away. For the first time in decades, two of the most respected voices in macro analysis, Michael Oliver and Jim Rickards, are aligned on one thing: a historic generational reset in precious metals is now underway. Michael Oliver, the man behind Momentum Structural Analysis, says silver is not just undervalued, not just suppressed, but primed to explode. And he isn't talking about $50. He isn't talking about a slow grind upward. He says silver can easily reach $200, and not in 10 years, not in 5 years, but within the next 6 months. Why? Because Oliver doesn't look at headlines. He doesn't look at emotion. He looks at momentum, market structure, the internal stress inside a system long before it breaks on the surface. And everything in his models is now flashing the same message. Silver is about to do what silver does best: move fast, move violently, and move when almost nobody is positioned for it. At the same time, Jim Rickards, former Pentagon advisor, currency historian, and author of Currency Wars, has laid out his projection for gold. And it's not a guess, it's not hype, it's math. Rickards says gold is on track to hit $10,000 per ounce by 2026. Not because of speculation, but because of a simple reality. When the global monetary system resets, whether by crisis, by inflation, or by geopolitical fracture, gold has to be priced at a level that can actually back the world's money supply. $10,000 is not a prediction, it's a requirement. And if gold reaches $10,000, then silver, historically the more explosive metal, does not stay at 50, does not stay at 100. Does not stay at 150. It overshoots. It spikes. It behaves like it always has in every major monetary transition. The quiet metal becomes the shock absorber. Think about the world we're living in. Debt at historic highs. Wars in multiple regions. A dollar under pressure. Central banks buying gold at the fastest rate in modern history. And retail silver inventories drying up with no sign of relief. This is why analysts with decades of experience, the ones who usually sound conservative, are no longer talking quietly. Michael Oliver says silver could be at $200 in 6 months. Jim Rickards says gold at $10,000 by 2026 is baked into the math. These aren't price targets. They are warnings, signals, and for anyone watching precious metals, this may be the moment the world finally wakes up to what gold and silver have been screaming for years. We are witnessing the early stages of a repricing, a reset, a global realization that real money doesn't need a central bank. It doesn't need a printing press. It doesn't need a promise. It just needs time. And time is almost up. Subscribe for more of the latest analysis, market signals, and what this means for silver, gold, and the mining stocks poised to move first.